what, if any, changes you're expecting to make to your application this year, to your essays in particular? And when do you expect to release your essays? Because this is the time of year where applicants are literally like standing by their keyboards, fingers like almost like Bugs Bunny when he's like running with his legs in the air and he's not able to move. That's the way we feel like applicants are right now. They're really itching to go. I think usually at this time of year, 1 or 2 schools have released. So yes, in short, no short questions with me. Are you making any changes, and when do you expect your essays and application to go live? And we'll go, can someone think of a scheme here for me? We'll go, I don't know. We'll go with, I always like to joke about the number of Donnas here. So we're gonna go all Donnas first, alphabetically with Donna Clarke, Donna Levenson, then Donna Swinford, then we'll figure out the rest. And this is usually where Donna Levenson starts rolling her eyes at me. So there we go. Okay. So Donna Clarke, any changes to your application? When are they coming out, et cetera?
Sure. Well, we're hoping between June 1st and June 15th. Probably the essays will be released first and then followed by the application no later than June 15th. I would like to expand on just the reference that many of us made, and including us. We've been asking a question for several years about additional context, and we're expanding that a little bit this year. So one of the questions that we introduced several years ago, is there anything else about your background that would give the admissions committee greater context? So it could be, anything from a health challenge, an absence from school, and an issue with, financial challenges. And I love that question. And it just shows that, life does have its challenges, and it's really helpful for us to have that context as we're evaluating. In light of affirmative action, we're expanding that to include and make it sure that people are aware that they can talk about lived experiences of all types. I think as applicants are navigating that, they need to be authentic to their level of privacy. And some people are very open and have formed great resilience and even, passion for helping others who may have navigated a similar life experience. But you also need to be authentic to, if you're a private person and you don't want to share, it is an optional question. But just want to encourage people to the extent that they're comfortable to complete that. I think, our team really have big hearts, and it has been incredibly valuable for us to see some of the circumstances that people have navigated while they have been building, their resumes and experiences in life. So we're expanding that a little bit, but I think the essays we're expecting to be largely the same. The deadlines will be largely the same, and they should be released very, very soon.
Okay, thank you. Donna Levenson.
You see me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So no significant changes to the application itself. I'm sitting here thinking about that. We actually have a meeting in a couple of weeks to talk about it, but nothing significant on the horizon. However, what we are talking about is how to address the fact that we now know that people perhaps use some support, such as an AI engine, ChatGPT, to perhaps help them create elements of their application. And do we want to somehow have them share that with us or not? I don't have an answer for that at all yet, but that is definitely something that we are discussing. Otherwise, most likely early July, and to release the application, and no real changes to the application deadlines either. So our first deadline will most likely be end of September, early October. Our second deadline will be mid-January, and then our third deadline will be sometime in April.
That's fascinating. I can't wait to see what you get. So I'm sorry, sir. I can't wait
to said of 2025. It's hard to believe that we're talking about 2025.
That's fascinating. That's my next topic is AI and its role, but that's very interesting that there could be a
disclaimer of some sort or an acknowledgement. Yep. We're talking about that.
Fascinating. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, Donna Swinford.
So we're pretty easy. We're not changing really anything from this current application. I'm very much addicted to the current essay question. I love it. We get a lot of information from it. We hope to have the application live by July 1st.
Okay. That's great. I mean, one thing that's interesting about the Chicago ones is there's no upward limit on some of the essays. What's the craziest someone's gone? Did you ever get anyone who's like, I got 5,000 words on a 250 minimum?
No. So I honestly, I don't think we've ever seen that. People are pretty
They're reasonable.
Yeah, very reasonable.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay, let's go with my alphabetical theme, if my brain can think that quickly, of the remaining three. So we got Allison, then Bruce, then Lawrence. We're going by first names.
Okay, yeah, so at Fuqua, our essay questions will be the same. So if you're waiting to start, those are not going to change. So feel free to go ahead and get started on those. Similarly to my colleagues, I love our 25 things list. So I don't know if that will ever change that. And then we have the application scheduled to go live July 1st. That's when you'd be able to access it and start entering information. But again, the essay questions are going to be the same. And the application deadlines are going to be the same, plus or minus a couple of days, but that'll all come out by July 1st.
Great. Thank you. I love that 25. The 25 thing is a lot of fun to read.
It's a lot of fun to read.
It brings so much personality and life to their applications. It's
Absolutely.
Really, yeah. Bruce?
Yeah, thanks so much. So SH questions will not change. We'll announce that probably in the next week or two, but those will be the same. We're working on finalizing the application deadlines, which will probably stay largely in place like some of the other schools, mid-September, early January, mid-April as the three deadlines, in addition to the consortium deadlines and the QuestBridge deadlines as well, which are out of our control, but those are obviously important ones as well. And application we're hoping to bring live in about a month, mid-June. So hopefully there'll be an announcement by the end of this month about essay questions and deadlines, but they aren't going to change. And actually thinking about Allison and others' points about thinking about what the class looks like, and in terms of changes to the application, we always do. We look at every year. We're in cycle prep right now, thinking about how we're going to evolve it. One thing we have made changes on the last few years, I think Donna Clarke might have mentioned this, is over the last half dozen or so years, we really included much more background information questions, trying to learn more about candidates beyond just kind of the more traditional metrics. And I think that has made a difference in our class composition. 5 years or so ago, we had about 10% first generation to college. Now we're about just by double that, right around 20% of our incoming students are first generation students. So it's been an important element of what we're hoping to bring together as a community.
Right, Lawrence?
Yeah, so our essays, we're in the middle of cycle prep as well, sort of at the tail end of cycle prep. So there may be some changes to our essays. I think the core essays will stay the same, but we will, as I mentioned earlier, trying to figure out better ways for applicants to share information about their values, their unique ability to contribute, and their diverse backgrounds. We are looking at making some streamline enhancements to our test waiver process and our application waiver process, and we'll release our deadlines and the application probably the first week of July.
Okay, great. So there are a whole bunch of green lights there for anyone who's listening who wants to get started on their essays. It doesn't want to be my probably way out of date Bugs Bunny analogy there, so you can probably get started on most of these schools' essays now.